Hi.
Who's calling?
I was just wondering if you offered palm readings.
Yes, we do.
What kind of method do you use?
What do you mean by method? We have the palm, the tarot, the psychic reading, depending.
For palm readings, I heard that people sometimes use like a scientific method to read palms
Reading
or...
through the lines and what they feel.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Just doesn't really mean anything. It's just like more of a fun thing to do.
I think it's sort of mumbo jumbo.
It's an old wives' method of fortune telling. I don't believe in old wives.
I don't believe in it because I think it's just trying to take advantage of people's problems, just making money off of it. It's all bullshit.
The psychic profession is an unregulated profession, and if you're skeptical, that means that you're intelligent. So I don't discourage that, but I also encourage people to be open-minded.
So what exactly is palm reading? Should people be skeptical about it or have an open mind? What should you expect to get out of it exactly? The only way to properly answer these questions is to experience it firsthand.
I'm from Hong Kong, and I guess like the tradition there is like really serious, and we always say that if you're too young, like if you're under 18, there's no point getting it because your future is still getting affected. And because palm reading there is taken really seriously, you don't go down the street for like a $5 one, you do it seriously, like over $100 palm readings, and they're supposed to be like really accurate.
After we got some opinions from the general public, we decided we wanted more of an in-depth understanding, so we went straight to the source. We sought the readers themselves. I had never gotten my palm read before, so that was my first time. I thought it was pretty overgeneralized and I could apply to everyone, but at the same time, it seemed like she knew what she was doing or that she believed what she was doing because she would stare intensely at my palm.
The woman read my palm and then looked up at me and she said, you're a swan, but you have to beware of ducks. I didn't really understand what she meant, so she asked me if I had a man in my life, and I said no, and she goes, you will have one soon, and you have to be careful to make sure that he's not a duck. Don't waste your time on ducks. Find yourself another swan.
I think the tarot is a very good instrument to explore how people relate to images and help people expand the way they think about things.
It's a tool to let you know this is where likely it can go based on the patterns you've established. The patterns you set up in your life, are going to take you in a certain direction in your life, and it's easy to see that if you're not going to make any changes. The purpose of the tarot reading is to show you, well, this is where you're going to wind up. If you don't want to go there, then you need to make a change.
Well, basically the tarot cards, I consider them my tools. So I use them to do functions in the psyche as I perform a reading.
I think divination is just another way of knowing. I think it's like anything else. It's not different than science. Science starts with a supposition and a hypothesis, and it works its way back to prove its position. Psychics say, well, this is your outcome, and I'm going to show you the trail you're going to get there.
I think it's like a form of talent. So some people are predisposed to be better at drawing than others, for example, but you can certainly take drawing classes and develop skills.
I firmly believe that everybody's psychic, some more than others, but everybody can learn how to develop their ability.
I know a friend that did tarot cards for themselves for a while, and they said gave them good advice and they pointed them in the right direction in their life.
The information that comes through should be information that's of an uplifting and of a spiritual nature.
Well, I asked her not to tell me when I was going to die, and the first thing she said was, you're going to die when you're 73 years old.
Oh, your hand no good. This is like no good for you. You understand? Your birthday no good for you. You have the problem. You go to swimming, very important. You be careful.
If people start predicting death or start saying there's going to be a terrible accident or anything that's going to invoke a sense of fear and therefore diminish one's power, then I would say to run as fast as you can in the other direction.
You carry this safety paper, whole life, you're very lucky.
How much is it?
Oh, you want, this is enough for you. They say, I don't charge for you a lot of money, $10 for one.
Well, that's okay.
Huh?
It's okay.
You don't believe?
But I found that they operate a con operation. I mean, they run a con. Each single time I was there, I was told that I had a curse or a black shadow or something around me. And then I was told that if I went to the bank and give them $1,000 or whatever, they will lift that from me.
Are there a lot of charlatans in my business? Yes, there are a lot of charlatans in almost any business.
Occasionally I'm very scientific, and I just think it's like one of those old things that, I don't know.
It's not really scientific. There's no way to like measure what they're saying, so it's not really true.
Yeah, the fact that palmistry is becoming more scientifically recognized, and in fact it's becoming a tool for psychoanalysis in certain circles, leads me to believe that there has to be some truth to it. And of course, in my own practice, I can see that.
I mean, you have universities, Princeton, Duke, doing major studies on what psychic ability is. The Russians have used it for years. What about remote viewing? The military has used it. It's been around a long time.
For my third reading from Gia, I asked one question because that was all we could afford, and I asked her what the keys to success for my life was. And she told me that I was destined to be a reporter, even though earlier I had told her that I was doing a documentary. So I think that definitely played into her response, and I think that she was merely reaffirming what she picked up from our conversation.
All this kind of work, cult work, is really created to serve and to serve others. Sometimes I've gotten people into therapy or prevented suicide or have helped with counseling, and so there's a full range of needs that, I deal with.
What do I hope to achieve? Just to be of service to my client. And probably the greatest thing that happens for most of my clients is a real deep feeling of empowerment. They feel like their life is given back to them.
It is very satisfactory to know that you can help them prove the reality, or to change, or to make decisions. That's powerful.
After my 3 readings, I am still a skeptic. Even though they were not the most informative or positive readings, I thought that it was still interesting, and I thought it was a little bit fun too. I think readings have their benefits, but it all depends on the person who is getting read and the reader. And I think as long as a reader respects another person's boundaries, or he or she is respectful of the person in general, and vice versa, then readings can be good for someone.